Grade with rubrics. In this video, we will briefly consider the value of rubric-based grades. We will then move on to the nitty-gritty of how to grade with rubrics, focusing on two important D2L tools where student work is evaluated: Dropbox and discussion. Rubrics can, in principle, be used with a third D2L evaluation tool, quizzes, but quiz grading is integral to the quiz tool itself, and a rubric would be an add-on rather than an assist for quiz grading. For Dropbox and discussion grading, and even for offline work, the rubric can be a real boon for a busy instructor needing to give grades and feedback to students. Why rubrics? Rubrics are great! Or maybe rubrics have a learning curve and interpose a layer of technology between our guts and our grades. So why climb the learning curve? And why not just grade with the gut? Once you have even a small amount of experience with D2L rubrics, evaluating student work with a rubric can be easier and quicker than doing it without one. It can also be more consistent from student to student, especially if you are grading submissions from different students on different days. Most importantly, a rubric promotes communication with students around the topic of evaluation. Students can view your expectations for their work in advance so that they have a better chance of meeting those expectations. Students can also see the basis for the grade they receive on an assignment, including individualized feedback if you choose to provide it. Let's see how it works. We will start in the Dropbox, where rubric integration is the tightest. When you are ready to grade the Dropbox assignment, go to the Dropbox, click on the paper you want to grade, and click Evaluate for a student that has submitted a paper. To view the student's work, click on the name of the document and it will show up in the document viewer. To grade with the rubric, click the little rubric icon. You can arrange the windows on your computer in a way that will let you see both the student's work and the rubric you're using to evaluate it. Just do a little clicking back and forth to read the work, and then check off the level for each criterion in the rubric. Under Score and Feedback, the Edit pencil lets you either edit points or leave a specific comment for the student on that criterion, or both. You can write some specific comments in the feedback fields if you choose. You can also have preset feedback that the students will see. And click to save your feedback. When you have checked the student off on each criterion, the rubric will total the points that the student receives. Leave this checked if you want the feedback you've put in the feedback field to be transferred to the general comment area that will show in the gradebook as well as the Dropbox. If your feedback will make the most sense in the context of the rubric criterion, then you might want to uncheck this setting. When you're done, save and record. The grade that is based on the rubric percent goes right into the score for this paper. And when you click Publish, it will go right into the gradebook for the student. Or you can save a draft and publish later. So that's how you grade with a rubric in the Dropbox. What does a student see? When the student goes to the Dropbox, before submitting the paper, the student can see the Dropbox instructions and also the rubric by which the paper will be evaluated. When the student is ready, the student uploads a file and clicks Submit. After you have graded the paper, when the student goes to the Dropbox, the student clicks View to view the feedback. The student can see how you evaluated the paper based on the criteria in the rubric. The student can also see the specific feedback that you gave in the rubric. And the student can see the score that they receive, having the basis of that score available in the rubric. Discussion topics can also be graded with a rubric. Although it is possible to associate a rubric with a discussion topic itself, this is not the rubric you should use for grading. Instead, a rubric associated with the grade item is what is recommended for grading. Here is how to grade a discussion topic using the rubric associated with the grade item. To grade discussions with rubrics, the recommendation is to start not at discussions, but at grades. To grade this particular discussion, use this little black triangle to pull down a menu and choose Enter Grades. The students are listed with discussion bubbles by their name if they posted something. There's also a rubric to evaluate those discussion posts. We're going to grade Mr. Weasley here. We'll start by clicking the discussion bubbles to view the post. I'm going to drag it over here to make room to see the rubric. And we're going to click the rubric. There it is. I want to see them side by side. There. Now I read what the student has posted and responded, and then I can evaluate according to the rubric. You can leave a specific comment on a specific criterion if you want. With these rubrics on the grade items, the grade is calculated, but that grade does not go right into the grade book as it did with Dropbox. So, make a note of the grade, and then you can save and return to the topic score window. Type in the grade and click Published, assuming you want it to go into the grade book. You can write an overall comment to the student if you want. When you've got the grade and the published check if you want to do that, and any comment you wish to make, click Save. You're warned that the feedback column in the gradebook will be overwritten, and that's good because that's what you want to do. When you're completely done, you save. Yes, I'm done, and I save. And then click wherever you want to go, including Cancel. You've already saved. What does a student see? The student views the discussion grade in the Grades tool. There is the general comment that was made. To see how the rubric was scored, the student clicks Assessment Details, and there it is, including specific feedback. To summarize, rubrics make grading easier and more consistent. To assess Dropbox submissions with a rubric, go to the Dropbox. On the other hand, best practice is to grade discussion posts with a rubric in the grade item. Students see rubric feedback for a Dropbox submission in Dropbox Feedback. Students see rubric feedback for discussions in grades if the rubric that is attached to the discussion topic's grade item is assessed. Here are some video resources on related topics.